Hello, welcome back to underKG Show. Today we got Dell Venue 8 Pro, which is a Windows 8.1 tablet. Yes, it is a full PC in a smaller tablet format. It looks exactly the same as the other tablets in the market, with the 8 inches of a TFT LCD, 2080 by 800 of display, and Windows key on the top. It doesn't do anything special. It's just a toggle key between the desktop mode and the Windows start screen. If you're in the app, it's going to bring it back to the start screen. And the 3.5mm headphone jack and the micro USB port over there, as it's a tablet, so if you plug in the power source, it's going to work as a power charging port. And if you put a USB adapter that converts this micro USB into a full-size USB, people call that USB OTG adapter, it's going to work as a USB port. There's a charging LED and the power key volume rocker with the micro SD card slot over there. If it were a PC, and it is actually, it's going to be called a micro SD card reader, but well, whichever way you want to call it, there's a micro SD card slot, and this cover looks a bit big. This perhaps is going to serve as a SIM card slot when the LTE version comes early next year. Nothing present on the left side. On the bottom only is a speaker. Not exactly in a good performance, but it's just there. And a 5-megapixel camera, no LED, nothing special. There's a Dell logo in there, and there's this kind of a circular ring kind of thingy. And it's got a soft touch finish. It's really nice to be holding in the hand. And the Intel Inside logo, as it's got 8 quad-core processor built in inside. And a series of stickers. That's pretty much it. Let's get back to the part where this is the full PC. So when people were actually talking about tablet PCs, it was used to be referring to the full PC with the x86 processor built inside and the full Windows. And as time passed by, people started to call Android and the iOS devices as tablet PCs. But this is sort of called kind of an original kind of tablet. So welcome back to the arena of a full-scale tablets. Folks, so this is a Windows 8.1. That's the latest operating system by Microsoft, and although it's got an 8-core processor and 2 GB of RAM, it's running fine. They have two variations, 32 gigs and the 64 gigs in the market. 32 is kind of hefty for the PC apps that does require more space than the Android or the iOS apps, so you might want to choose a 64 gigs one if you don't mind the price differences. There is also a micro SD card slot, as I mentioned, so you can plug a 64 gigabytes of micro SD card slot and do a symbolic link thingy or whatever. So that's that. And don't get scared by the term ATOM. This ATOM processor built in is Baytro, is that? It's the latest ATOM, and ATOM processor nowadays is actually pretty good. It's not like that shitty ATOM we've seen in 2008 and 2009 with the rise of the netbooks. It's far better than that. And 2 gigs of RAM actually does its job. And since ATOM limits the RAM to be 2 gigabytes only, it's got a 32 bits of operating system installed. Not a biggie, but just to let you know. So, being a full Windows tablet, it has two things that you have to keep in mind. First is that you can run the legacy apps. Legacy, well, it's not exactly legacy, but the classic Windows apps that you run on your PC. Meaning that you can run all those fancy, not exactly fancy, but those classic apps that you've been running in the PC. Since this doesn't have keyboard or mouse built in, you might want to plug in these in to have a better experience of your PC apps. Let's run a Half-Life 2. That's kind of a old kind of game. How is this? This is not like 7 years now. But anyway, let's do a little testing for the built-in graphics. So let's launch Half-Life 2. Give it a few seconds. Greeted by the Valve logo, and also the built-in storage is eMMC, not an SSD, but performance is neglectable, it seems. Let's load up a game. Give it a few seconds. I know this isn't exactly the best example to compare to test this graphics performance. It's pretty old, but okay, this wasn't the best scene. It's pretty dark. But anyway, let's kill myself. Oh, I'm not dead. Anyway, you can see the point. The point is that it runs pretty well. It's an old game, but if it's not requiring much of the resources, it runs just fine. So that's the one thing about the full-size Windows tablet, the fully functional Windows tablet. One is that you can run the legacy apps, and most of the people have been expecting is the Microsoft Office, which comes included in the package. It comes with the full serial number and the license for your Microsoft Office. So if you're willing to have a OneNote, and this guy also supports Stylus Pen. So if you're expecting a Microsoft Office, it's got you covered. All right. Before we get to any further details about the device, I have to mention this. So this is a Windows tablet. What is important about the Windows tablet is that this isn't your typical iOS or Android tablet. It means that if you want to run a tablet-likely apps, then you would have to go to that Metro mode of Windows 8, which does not have many apps actually. There's a store, Microsoft Store, which Microsoft doesn't exactly seem to be running very well. The speed of the increasing of the apps is very, very slow, and there aren't many apps that are exactly useful. Very, very incomparable to the ones in the Android and the iOS. So if you're going to use this as a multimedia tablet or just a consuming kind of tablet, it's not going to be serving you very well. So who would want a Windows tablet? First is that you have a specific app that you can only run on a classic Windows, like OneNote with your pen support, or say you gotta be on the move and flash your smartphone on your tablet with that special tool, or any kind of Windows app that you have in mind. Then you can get a Windows tablet. Or is that you just really need a Windows tablet. Other than that, there isn't exactly the reason why you should get a Windows tablet, especially when the Metro mode that is designed for the tablet usage are not exactly good. When there is a Android tablet like this one that costs a whole lot less and runs the full Android apps, or the iOS tablet like the iPad mini that also runs whole variety of the iOS apps that are designed to serve you better for everyday uses, there aren't much space that Windows tablet has. So first thing is that you gotta think whether you really need a Windows tablet when it's not exactly the best tablet to have in everyday use. And second is Dell Venue 8 Pro the best Windows tablet in the market right now? There are actually a lot of other competitors. There's Lenovo Mix 2, Asus T100, there are more coming. And this by itself is actually pretty well made. The build quality is actually quite amazing for its price range, and it feels really nice, and the screen, maybe isn't the best because of the resolution, but the screen's color reproduction and the visibility is actually better than I thought. It's actually pretty good. So as a Windows tablet, this is actually a pretty good one. So question yourself two things before you get Dell Venue 8 Pro. First, do you really need a Windows tablet instead of Android or the iOS? And second, do you need a Dell Venue 8 Pro instead of those with the keyboard dockings and the cheaper prices? The choice is yours, but again, Dell Venue 8 Pro is a pretty well-made tablet. It's your question to have is whether you need a Windows tablet or not. This was underKG. Don't forget to subscribe by tapping on that, and we'll see you guys on the next review. Thank you.